Lots of love on display at one local Whataburger. It was announced today that Sharon, Arteaga, and Dylan Welch from Corpus Christi were the grand prize winners of a wedding at a Whataburger restaurant. 5 other couples were selected from around Texas, but Welch and Arteaga took home the top prize, which includes a $5,000 honeymoon, and their wedding will be streamed on Whataburger's YouTube page at 2 p.m. on Friday. And by the way, it's happening at the Whataburger on the Bay downtown. Why didn't I enter this, Joe?
Do you have someone to marry?
You know what? I don't have time for your attitude. Anyway, congrats to them.
Okay.